Okay, here's what we're going to restring today. Looks like a Charvel. Up on the headstock, it says a Charvette. Let's throw this thing up on the bench and get to work on it. Okay, Charvette by Charvel. This is a made in Japan guitar. It's got the P.O. box right here on the back plate that says USA. Charvette, very cool. Probably early 90s, 91 or something. And this is the 3-pickup version, so I'm going to say this is a Charvette 270. I believe the 170 had a humbucker single pickup, and I think it might have been installed at a little angle like this, I guess. But yeah, this is the 270. Made in Japan. Let's go ahead and pull these strings out through here. Looks like the black covers on here are still in good shape. God, there's so much dirt under these strings. This is really cool. I have the case with it. Did a little bit of research on reverb. And prices on these things are anywhere from about $300 to maybe $500 or $600. Some guys are asking like $700 for them. I'm going to say that's way too much. All right, let's flip it over. I'm going to go ahead and take this back plate off of here. Make it easier to see what's going on. This guitar has sort of a weird bridge to it. I've seen the same bridge on some of my BC Rich stuff that's made out of Korea, but it's not my favorite bridge, that's for sure. But anything made in Japan from back in the day, they're good guitars. I mean, from about the late 80s, 1990s stuff, those are all really good guitars. The old Japanese stuff from the 60s, not so much. Alright, so we can see how these strings just kind of lay in there. Go ahead and snip these babies out of here. So yeah, this guitar belongs to me, and so this one will be for sale after it's all shined up here today. We'll put it out in the showroom if I can get it to play nice and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, not my favorite bridge right here. But I've seen them where the fine tuners are missing and parts are not in there and all kinds of things are going on. But it looks like it's all here, so... Plug it in, see if she makes noise. Huh. I think what we got to do is take this back plate off and spray out our electronics. I heard a couple of the pickups seemed like they were working. I had a suction cup somewhere that you'd stick on there and pull it right out. And I don't know where that thing went. Yeah, I lost it. It's unfortunate. Alright, so we got little tiny potentiometers in here. Got a little ground on there, that's good. This is shielded. So this seems like a little added bonus, right? Let me get in here and spray these guys. The output jack's nice and tight, which is a good thing. There we go. I think we're good to go now. Yeah, so this is the second Charvette that I've had. Had one a few years ago. Seems overall it's in really good condition as far as nicks and stuff. Well, there's a couple right through here that are pretty bad. Notice that this needs tightened up. A couple guys just came in. Okay, got a little bit of 1000 grit wet sandpaper. Just gonna fold it over a bit like this. And I'm gonna kind of hit these frets, polish them down a little bit. Okay, so the fret ends on this one feel nice and smooth already. That's a benefit of an older guitar. It's, 33 years old or something around there. And the wood has done as much moving around as it's going to do. And it feels like, feels pretty smooth as far as these fret ends. So, yeah. Just going to put a little bit of some F1 oil on here. And I don't see a lot of dirt or anything on the fretboard, but we'll just clean it up as best that we can. So these pickups with the plastic, that's a sure sign of what they were doing back in the 80s. And you know, I've got my hands on one of those Badland guitars that Philip McKnight and the Tone King and a couple of these other guys, they've started their own brand, and they're doing that. They're trying to bring the old sound of the 1980s back. Not so much the sound, but the look and the feel of their guitar, Badland's guitar. And this guitar, for some reason, kind of reminds me of that same thing. with these pickups being covered in plastic. This thing reminds me of a Badlands guitar. Okay, look up here and let's take a look at this. And while I'm cleaning, there's a good chance to, it's a good time to actually look the guitar over. Let's see if I can snug these tuners down. Got a lot of guys coming in the store today. I'm going to have to go out and say hello to a couple of guys. That one's still got a string hanging in it. See if I can yank the string out. There we go. Yeah, you want to make sure that those are not left in there. Okay, so I have my notch straight edge. And I'm looking at the neck right here. And I can see there's a lot of relief in this neck. Just I can even, my fret guard, you know, you can see you got a lot of room underneath here. So I need to tighten up this truss rod. And so looking down the neck right here at the truss rod, I was surprised to see that it has a nut on the end of the truss rod right there. Alright, so I've got my truss rod tool right here, and it says PRS. This is the one that fits the Paul Reed Smith guitars. And let's put it in there. And let's see if it will tighten that. Ooh, I can hear some squeaking going on in there. I can hear the wood moving around a little bit. Gonna give it another good turn. There we go. Alright, now let's take a look here.
I just want to go get one. Like I can just kind of wait back.
That worked pretty darn good. I think I can give it a little tiny more of a turn, because once the strings are on it, it's going to pull it back a little bit. Okay, so now it looks nice and flat. Little tiny bit of space underneath right here, which is perfect, so I'm going to leave it right there. Okay, let's string up this beauty up. SIT 9 through 42 gauge. SIT, the Stay in Tune String Company. Okay, baby, get on through there. Break on through to the other side. Okay, look in there. Is there something blocking this? Kind of a weird bridge. All these Japanese bridges. I get so many of these things. And they're all just weird. Break on through to the other side. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Okay. We snip this end off here. Snip it. Let's try again. There it goes. So this thing has, it's kind of a strange, it has the plastic nut, but it then also has the locking nut on there. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, so one thing that I've noticed about a lot of these Japanese bridges, the engineers over in Japan, they were freaking brilliant. And they came up with great ideas. But to the average guitar player, when you went to restring something and you had all these little difficulties with the simplest thing, it was all with these bridges. All these Japanese bridges were, you know, they just, none of them were user friendly. So here's what I try to do with these. I'll take this little skinny Allen wrench and I'll shove it down in here. We'll try to get this thing to work its way through. There's tricks to all these, and they're just a pain. And so they came up with these great engineering ideas, but then when the guitar players in the world started playing with them, that's when they noticed that the guitar players were going frickin' batshit crazy, trying to figure out how to restring their instruments. And you got to keep in mind that the average guitar player, that's why some of these pedals are over difficult for guys. We want something that's easy to do. And if you're sitting at the side of the stage and you need your guitar to be restrung, and somebody is struggling with restringing your guitar, your guitar tech or whoever it might be, you trade that guitar in. And the company stops making that style of bridge, because this is a freaking pain. I can shove it through there. But yeah, super not cool. Got a little tilting thing in here. The little saddle piece tilts. And I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't seem like it works properly. And you can't make things difficult on your average guitar player, because I'm telling you guys, they'll stop selling these bridges. People hate these bridges. Okay, so I can get the string through from the top, but then this piece falls down. Yeah, so I'm doing this video in to try to help sell these guitars, because I'm in a used guitar shop. I'm trying to sell these things. When you see me struggling with the bridge, it's really not a good sales pitch, right? Okay, so I can't imagine that this high E string is going to fall right in here. I just can't imagine it's going to happen. Yeah, so I'm looking at stuff, and showing you guys how easy it is to replace the strings on this thing. Not easy at all. Don't like it. Not liking it at all. Okay, so the SIT strings give you an extra high E string and an extra B string. So I get to save on this string right here. Okay, I think it's fine. I go ahead and put this back plate back on. This bridge, I'm telling you though, it kind of threw me for a loop. It was a little rough on me. I almost threw this guitar in the trash. No, I'm just kidding. This is a cool guitar, but it does have one of those bridges. Now, a lot of those BC Rich guitars that I have, it's got the same bridge. And it's the way that those little parts in there that are part of the fine tuners, it just makes it a little bit difficult to do string change outs. And let me get this back plate on here, and then I can check the tuning on this guitar. Alright, so let's see what we got here as far as tuning this. Let's see what we got as far as tuning this thing up. Stretch the strings a little bit. One thing that's kind of nice is the ball end of the string is down in here. So you don't have to take the Allen wrench into the back and have that little block that lays down in there like a Floyd Rose. So that's possibly a benefit to some people that hate those. Okay, I'm going to set this thing at in E flat. Now, one thing that kind of sucks about this one is I don't have a whammy bar for it. Unfortunately, I don't have a bar. I have a drawer full of whammy bars here. But out of all these bars, I don't have one that fits in there. I can feel it's threaded. And I looked in the case. I don't see a whammy bar for it. And so I'm not even going to put the locking nut together and put those little nuts down in there. Just gonna leave it like this. Maybe a whammy bar will come in, and sometimes guys walk in and they sell me parts, or even some guys donate parts to me, which thank you guys for that. Get a lot of donations. Guys that watch the channel and have become fans, so I really appreciate you guys. Alright, let's just take a look here and see how the action feels. Super low. Maybe a little bit buzzy. Could probably come up a little. Let me take a look at those saddles. It looks like there's a nice little radius to the saddles, so I think I'll leave that where it's at. Let's put the truss rod cover back. Alright guys, so here it is, a Charvette. So, fun little guitar. Made in Japan. It's got a brand new set of 9-gauge strings on it. Unfortunately, I'm missing the bar. Didn't put any locking nuts on there. But it's a fun guitar, and I think that somebody's going to love this thing. Hopefully someone will come in and be like, what, a Charvette? It's kind of like the Corvette of the guitar market. But it's a fun guitar, and so thank you guys for watching.